Hello and welcome to InSight. I'm Wendy Brokaw.
And I'm guest host Ross Sutherland.
Thank you for joining us today, Ross.
Thank you for having me.
And with us is the founder, co-founder actually, with her husband Eduardo, of an organization called the Salem Keizer Coalition for Equality. This is Analivia Palazzo Angulo. Welcome, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Wendy.
You know, the whole purpose of InSight is to concentrate on those organizations which have demonstrated insight and innovation. Yours has. Tell us about your organization, because it is making a big difference in the lives of parents and children and families for whom English is not their first language, and making them succeed.
Yes, definitely. So we work with Spanish-speaking Latinos. Most of them are from our farm working communities in the last 30 years here, and we have transitions and new people coming in. But our we have the largest number of Latinos in the state of Oregon. We have the largest number of Latino students in the state of Oregon.
You're talking about the Salem Keizer
School District.
Okay. Ah.
We have the largest, now almost 50% of the kindergartners entering next September will be Latino. And a good portion of those, I think it's about 60% of those, still speak only Spanish when they first come to school. In 1999, though, this demographic was making this huge shift, but people weren't quite ready for it in our area. They weren't ready for it, and it was still that transition time when a huge cultural shift happens and a language shift in an area like ours that was not used to it before. So Stanban put out a dropout and suspension report in 1999. It was the first time that Oregon's Education Department disaggregated the data, and we actually got to see which class of students, poverty, race, ethnicity, were getting disciplined more, suspended more, expelled more, and dropping out more and graduating less. And there were Black students at nearly 50%, and they're a small percentage of our community. Latino students at that time in 1999 were, I think, 1/5, 18% of the district, almost 20%, and their dropout and suspension and discipline rates were over 40%.
So what galvanized you into action?
That did. I had just graduated from Willamette University. So all of a sudden our group of friends was all like, this is outrageous, because it is the first time that Oregon disaggregated data by race and ethnicity. No Child Left Behind Act came out soon right after in the nation and said all students' scores and data needed to be disaggregated. That was a first. It really made a difference. It caused an outcry. We made a lot of people pretty unhappy.
Why?
Went to the school board and said, we didn't know much about this yet, like why and how to fix it. But it was like, you've got to see that whether it be institutional discrimination or individuals, you have to do something. We're talking about a 40% gap here, you know?
We were talking earlier about the role of parents having changed. There was a kind of a 1950s model where parents, you told us, kind of expected children to start learning to read once they get into school, and that's not the model that your organization follows, is it?
It's all about getting to that third grade level. We all know in many years in research and education, before third grade you read to learn, to learn to read, and after third grade you read to learn. And if you're not reading well by fourth grade, you're starting to lose. So 4 years ago, we started a program, Leyendo Avanzamos, that is Reading Together We Advance. And this was for K through second grade. So now this Leyendo Reading Together We Advance, it helps parents learn how to, I call it, tutor their children, teach their children to read at home, so to speak. Teaching reading is basically, you know, teaching phonics. Let's read together, but intentionally, like, let me hear how you sound the words out. Let's go back and read this word again. Let's talk about what the words mean. Let's ask questions about what the story means. And this is more intentional, the way a teacher does or a professional does in whether it kindergarten or whatever, you know.
You have a wonderful story that you told us before we began taping about how a father learned something new about this whole process of watching his child learn to read. Tell us about that.
It was amazing. He recently testified at our event, and it's on the website if you want to go look at the whole video. But he was over at Cesar Chavez School, where we have one of the programs. And he said, you know, one day I was watching TV, and I have to admit, I was a father who watches TV when I get home from work because it's the wife's job to do the homework and stuff, and I'm bringing in the money. You know, he says, I have to tell you, that's the way I believed. You know, the principal called and said, we're really worried about your son. He's in 2nd grade, and he's at kindergarten level, and he's not doing well. So we got worried. She says, would you please join this program? Olga Cobb is a wonderful principal at Cesar Chavez. He said after 3 weeks, we had moved, my son had moved from level 4 to level 12 or something, or 14, I think.
Wow.
And
Wow.
you see, when you're testing kids in the first little, you know, kindergarten, 1st grade and 2nd grade, there's like 36 levels. You know, it's what part of kindergarten are you at, or 1st grade? But to go from level 4 is basically to go from the kindergarten level up to, I'd say, the middle of 1st grade. Don't test me because I'm not one of the teachers. The facilitators have this all down. But so he was catching up, and he went, after 10 weeks, you know, the child was just really almost caught up with 2nd grade.
Wow.
And that's
Wow.
what, but that parent really put it in, an hour a day. But at the end of this interview, he said, I just want you to know, I exhort all fathers to get involved with their children because the school can't do it alone. It's not their responsibility all by themselves. We teach all our parents that it's a 50-50 thing.
We have a really
Really
cute video to show of a little girl with her, is it her mom?
Yes,
All right, a little video.
and a little
it's
boy with his dad.
about the little girl learning to read and going through her, well, let's look at the video.
And
because
I just want you to know, she wanted to do that.
oh, really?
We had a little graduation ceremony, and that little girl said, I want to show how I can read. And she grabbed the microphone, and the mom held the book up. We were having a graduation ceremony with the school and at Four Corners. And
Yeah.
anyway, it was amazing.
Let's
So
take a look at
yeah.
that video. I think it speaks for itself. In whatever language it is, this little girl and her mom are
Yeah.
born.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
take a look.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Emma. Papi saca el pasto con la pala. La nena duerme en su cuna. Espalma si la cachó.
Salir. Fuerte.
Coco. Cacocu. Con. Seco. Casi. Taco. Toca. Cono. Taco. Pico. Saca. Carro. Casa. Rico. Hora. Cuna. Pesca. Comal. Carmela pesca en el río. El Coca se cae al suelo. Él no comió tacos de carne.
That is so cute.
That's
It's
great.
darling.
And
I know.
it's
Yeah.
heartwarming.
Heartwarming.
You know what's wonderful about you and your organization is that you saw a problem in the community and you looked at ways to address that that were really positive and long-term and are really going to make a long-term impact in not only the community but the lives of so many people living here. So thank you so much.